And if I did, it will not be relevant to what you're trying to do. It will not relate to what you're trying to do. I do understand, certainly, that this is a National Assembly Select Committee, but it is bound by the Constitution.
Yeah.
It is bound by its standing orders.
That's right. Now, before I do the final order, I'm allowing me to ask questions relating to the submission you just made, and of course, relating to the application made by council as well. So, then we will. Council allow members to just ask, and then you'll get there.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Ms. BENSOUDA.
Yes, Honorable.
May I know which documents you might have in your possession, which you believe are outside the remit of this committee? Can you give us a list?
Thank you. I cannot give you a list of head, but for every subject matter that was investigated by the Jammeh Commission, as counsel, I kept copies of some of the documents that were tendered before the Commission. I kept
Copies of some of the witness statements, because I opened files for each subject matter. So as you know, the Jammeh Commission investigated different parastatals and public entities. It identified close associates. And so I kept what a lawyer's lead counsel to the commission would normally keep. So my policy would be to keep it for initially 6 years, that is the limitation period, and beyond that I might keep it for 12 years if it relates to landed property. These are my counsel records. So this is a range of documents that I have.
In that case, now I will rephrase the question. Based on the thematic areas that you've investigated, which documents do you believe are at your disposal, which are outside the remit of this committee? Now, give it to us in thematic areas that you believe that our remit does not cover.
Okay.
Since the documents are voluminous, you might not be able to remember them individually. But now the thematic areas you believe you have documentation to, and based on our TOR, those documents fall outside our remit.
All the proceedings that have nothing to do with assets that were sold pursuant to the orders of the Jammeh Commission.
Give us one instance.
All the witness transcripts, all the bank statements of individuals, all the exhibits that were tendered at the commission. These are outside the remits of.
With due respect, the council. If you look at section 112 of the Constitution, just section 112 of the Constitution. Yes, I will give you a copy of section 112.
Where's my Constitution?
I will put you right there. $109, huh? Give it to her. I have section 109.
Section 109.
Yes.
She has a copy.
Section 1093 of the Constitution. You can look at section 1093B of the Constitution. This committee had the right and the mandate to request for any documentation. In fact, we are after documentation so that we can substantiate the work we are doing. So, if the belief is that the transcripts you have, the exhibits you have, do not fall within our limit, that depends on the committee to determine, just like the interview you did with the investigation team. At the end of the day, we didn't take the transcript version of it. It was at the discretion of the committee to extract what was relevant. So, as such, Honorable Chair, I strongly believe that Ms. BENSOUDA has not provided or advanced any documentation or thematic areas that she worked on which are outside the limits of this committee. If you're talking about exhibits, the committee will be interested in the list that you are having. If at all we are talking about transcripts of witnesses, we would agree that there might be vulnerabilities. But at the end of the day, the remits of the committee does not bar us from having access to these transcripts, provided there is valuable information that the committee can use in the execution of our functions. So I strongly believe that what leads council's application is the defense of the committee. I do appreciate the fact that as submitted by Ms. BENSOUDA, documents my points. So we can discuss the nature in which we will receive them. What I would add is we should have a timeline with it. It cannot be open-ended. You know, we are time bound. So I would support it.
Thank you, Honorable. Honorable, sir, are there any people?
With regards to the purpose of the commission that was set up, what was the TO that was given to you, and the responsibility that you guys to undertake during your process, compared to the TOR you are referring to from the Senate committee. I think if you compare it together, I didn't know the same. I did not have talking about the same issue. And then,
No, no, they are not.
what's the difference? What's the difference?
There's a huge difference. I mean, in terms of reference of the Jammeh Commission, our legal notice, their wide scope investigation, your own investigation is limited to how the assets that were identified by the commission were dealt with. So the Honorable Commissioner has referred me to Section 109, subsection 3 of the Constitution. I'm not entirely sure what he was drawing my attention to. But if subsection 3 says, for the purpose of effectively performing its functions, each of the committee shall have full of the powers, rights, and privileges as are vested in the High Court at a trial in respect of enforcing the attendance of witnesses, compelling the production of documents, and the issue of a commission or request to examine witnesses at all. So I'm not entirely sure of the point you were making. But let me say this.
You said what you have at your possession, and what you were suggesting is the exhibits and the transcripts of the witness statements might fall outside the limits of this committee. Am I right? Then maybe perhaps you can repeat what you said before.
What I said.
Honorable member of the National Assembly, is that what I understood by the summons I was served is what I to produce is what I produced. And what I understood from the summons that you served was that I should produce all documents relating, that's what it said. Relating.
Sorry, allow me. Let me guide it. Your response was for an earlier question I asked you. The first question I asked you was to give us a list of the documents you had at your disposal, which you believe are outside the remit of this committee. And your response was, you have so many documents and you can't remember them offhand. But every thematic area that you worked on, you have documents on them. Then I rephrased my question and I asked you, based on the thematic areas that you've worked on, Can you tell us the documents at your disposal which you believe are outside the remits of this committee? That was when, in your response, you talk about what? Witness transcripts, exhibits. And in relation to that, that's why I referred you to section 109(3)(b) of the Constitution. Is that correct?
I understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
Okay.
If you want me to respond again, whatever this committee is doing, in my humble opinion, is subject to the scope of work, which is the remit that it was set by the National Assembly. I was served with a summons to produce documents relating to that remit. I produced the documents, but it seems that the documents I produced, or you want more documents? So, sorry, let me just finish.
Okay.
It seems you want more documents outside of the documents I was asked to produce. And I said, look, I do have documents I kept as counsel. And the documents I did not produce have nothing to do with the subject matter of your investigation. These are documents that I kept and I will keep until the limitation period is over. And these are my case files. They are copies of some. These are my case files. If you want, somebody can come and inspect my case files. But, and if you think you found any documents that you want to copy, you're quite welcome to them. But I really am at a loss as to what this you want me to do.
Yeah, just to finally, Ms. BENSOUDA, for all intents and purposes, we are just trying to be fair here. When the initial summons was sent to you, you responded, and based on your understanding of the summons, you provided documentation. That's why when you appeared, what documents did you believe, or do you believe that at your disposal, which are outside the remits of our committee? If you were able to provide us a list of those documents, which are outside the scope of our work, the committee wouldn't go to that. Our operations are guided by the Constitution and outstanding orders. We are very right in that. But the bottom line here is, all the documents you are having, the committee is requesting for them to be submitted, cannot be in any way described as working outside the boundaries that were defined by Union. So that's why in my conclusion, I told you that I totally align myself with the application of the council. And again, I didn't want to come in because council will come to that. But at some point, we'll make a determination whether those are case files or whether they are public documents. We'll have to make a determination. But at this point, Honorable Chair, for me, I will take my point that Ms. BENSOUDA should produce those documents, and we shouldn't leave it open-ended. We definitely have to make a timeline to it.
Thank you, Honorable. Council, do you want to represent before I
thought the members are still intervening.
Yes, of course, in relation to the summons, Chair, because with my understanding, repeatedly, Ms. BENSOUDA has been saying that she is here to actually assist the committee. However, from the look of things, from the first summon, I am not too sure if really that is what she is doing. For example, the first summon we gave, she wrote back seeking for which we agreed. And looking at the scenario, or the unfortunate scenario, think that should have been actually avoided in terms of, getting her to sign the statement that was due to technicalities. And I believe we complied with that. Wait until this afternoon, come back and get the ball rolling. But then it seems that it's not what is exactly that is happening, and she seems to be still hiding behind similar technicalities in dragging the work of the committee. So through you, Chair, I definitely want to appeal with Council that we should be able to progress looking at the time, and then also if they can kindly comply with this committee to get us do our work as expected. Because for me, the communications are very explicit in terms of what she was supposed to produce. My dismay here is what tool or guidance was he using to determine what was really relevant for the committee and what was not relevant for the committee in terms of documents that she was supposed to produce. So I'm a bit confused along the line, and I would appreciate if they can tell us what yardstick have she actually used to determine what document is relevant for the work of this committee and what is not really relevant. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. Council, do you want to?
Yes, I do. Chair. I'm not sure whether we should give respond to what I'm thinking.
Do you have any reaction to what Honorable Jammeh said?
Ms. BENSOUDA, your mic.
Honorable Chair, I do have a concern. I'm a witness of this committee. I was summoned to produce documents that I had. I produced the documents that I thought you wanted. I have produced them, and these are at my own expense. I produced these documents, and I not only produced them in one volume, I produced them in 2 volumes, in 3 volumes, and each volume in 2 copies. This is all at my expense. I'm disappointed that I appear before the commission, and the first question I'm asked is, why did I decide to produce some documents and not other documents? My answer is simple. The summons to me, in my own understanding of it, is that I should produce a certain set of documents. It did not say produce all documents in your possession relating to the Jammeh Commission. It said I should produce documents relating to what is stated, your remit, which is the disposal of assets identified by the Jammeh Commission. This is what I produced. Now, if you want me to produce all documents in my possession relating to the Jammeh Commission, you are certainly welcome to make that order. Now, that is within your discretion to do so. But I do take objection to any honorable member that is privileged using language like dragging your feet, and so on. I don't think it is called for, and I don't think it's appropriate. I'm here at your invitation. I responded to the best of my ability according to my understanding. But if you want more than I produced, it's simple. Make an order that I should produce all documents that I have concerning Jammeh Commission, and I'll do so, but not at my own expense. I can bring them, and you can make your copies, and I'll take my documents back. I can do that. But as I said, I don't think some of the statements are called for. It's unnecessary. You are privileged, honorable gentlemen. I am a privileged witness, and I do have my rights.
Thank you, Ms. Mansoura. Council quickly before I.
That's fine. It seems like what beforehand, submit documents to this committee. However, out of caution, I would just say that Ms. BENSOUDA, the motion that you read, of course, we understand, and I'm sure you understand, as we do, that it must be read as a whole. And when read as a whole, you would see that under the terms of reference of the committee, it goes on to look at issues of administration. You would look at 6, 7, and 8, so 6, 7, and 8, and also of the motion that you read. Yes, 3. Yes.
6, 7, and 8.
Yes. Sub 3, sub 6, 7, and 8. You would see that
3, 6, 7, and 8.
precisely.
Sorry, what about them?
6 goes on to say, to identify and profile purchasers of assets, including individuals and corporate entities, assessing whether proper procedures were followed, and determine whether any conflict of interest, abuse of office, or procedural irregularities occurred. Now, there are 2 limbs to 6. One is in relation to the sales, but the second certainly pries into the administration. Perhaps 7 gives more clarity to evaluate the management and accounting of proceeds generated from asset disposals, and determine whether such funds are properly deposited into public accounts, including the National Treasury and any special accounts. I would not read 8, but 8 goes on to indicate that where there is any component or a criminal element to the administration of the sales, the committee could probe into it. Aside from that as well, the section of the Constitution that was highlighted, and as you had highlighted earlier on today, the committee has powers of the High Court at trial. Those powers include determining the relevance of documents. And I will not go on to belabor the point. Since the Honorable, I've made my application, Honorable Chair. It's left to you. The witness has.
Honorable Chair, I agree.
I produced all the documents that I have concerning the Jammeh Commission. For one, that's the term, that's the acronym, if I may call it that way, for the Jammeh Commission. That does not mean I am conceding to the procedure that's being adopted. This commission, by the Constitution, has a purpose, and the purpose is set out in the motion. The purpose is not to review the work of the Jammeh Commission. The purpose is to look into, investigate the manner in which certain specific matter was dealt with. These are the assets that were identified by the Jammeh Commission and disposed of. Learned Counsel has referred me to the motion, and he has specifically referred me to the terms of reference 3, 6, 3.6, 7, and 8. Nothing in those sections support what he is saying. This is not a committee at large. Its powers are limited. I'm a witness, and if you order that I produce documents, I will, because you have a power to do so. But that doesn't mean that the order is right. And I'm saying the order is wrong, because you have to operate within your powers. You do not have a power because you have not been conferred with that power to limited to your terms of reference in relation to an inquiry into a specific matter. But nevertheless, if you make the order, I'll comply with it. But that doesn't mean I agree with the premise of the order or the submission that the council is making. Thank you.
We are not. We rely on you to separate us. One thing I do agree with the witness is that we are not a committee at large. Indeed, we have a TOR. But what we have asked for is indeed within our TOR. Over to you.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Ms. BENSOUDA. I have listened to all of you. And of course, the application made by the council, like I said earlier on, the committee will want to grant the application. Of course, you agree for the committee. So I have put the order that you produce documents for the committee. But also, I want to say this. The committee in its operation, since we started, we have had a lot of witnesses before this committee. And those witnesses also produce documents for the committee. And they have done something in the JAMMEH in the inquiry, either as commissioners or they are partners in whatever you've done when the commission was in operation. So they've provided documents up to the office of the president, office of the ministers. So we got documents from them. And I think it's only fair for us to also request documents from you. Yes, you have made your point. We have our councils, and then you will continue, then we will review. But I know the motion is very much explicit. Of course, in our view, that the motion has directed us to look at documents related to the planning commission. Specifically, you mentioned about sales and disposal. Yes, we know that is there. But the committee as a whole still has the powers to request for documents, like you said, and that's the order now we are putting to for you to produce documents to the committee. So we can say, because we are finishing our hearings very soon. Today is on the 5th, Council.
Yes, sir.
So we can give until Monday. Is that okay? Monday.
Can you read the order, please, so that they are specific and I don't come here and we have a misunderstanding as to what I was required.
Yes.
Please make the order with the notes.
For you to produce all documents relating to the operations of the JAMMEH Commission. Now, the committee as chair granted application for you to produce those documents. Now, you said you can bring all the documents to us, and then now we will pick what you want the documents that are related to the commission as well. That's what you said. If you want us to put it in a written form, we can still do the order like that and send it to you. But I think from the application made by council, so I just send it to you directly. So you can produce before probably Monday. Monday will be only let me
just take a precision.
The documents, let me seek a precision, Mr. Chair.
Monday will be on the 10th of November.
The documents, I don't have all documents relating to the JAMMEH Commission. I will produce. I can only produce documents in my possession as lead counsel to the JAMMEH Commission. That's what I can produce. But all official documents, all documents are within government, Ministry of Justice, I presume. But I can produce documents in my possession as lead counsel to the JAMMEH Commission.
That's okay. That's exactly what we mean. Because that's you be a lead counsel for the commission. So with your position as lead counsel at the time, that's what we are requesting. Counsel, so we can proceed. I think the order is.
Yes, Honorable Chair, I would ask that we take a 10-minute stand down to advise ourselves. Proceed. There's an indication from the high table that the 10 minutes could be also used to observe prayers. Then we can proceed.
All right, thank you. We can adjourn for 10 minutes for prayers and we can resume back at 5, quarter to 6.